Throughout football history, we've seen dominant teams, squads that crushed leagues, shattered records, and terrified Europe. But in 2016, Real Madrid built something different. They assembled a front three no one had ever seen before. One of the greatest footballers to have ever played the game, the fastest winger in the world, and the most complete striker in Europe at the peak of his powers. A trio so explosive, they didn't just beat teams, they erased them. They tore through Europe with a level of efficiency that felt unfair, rewriting Champions League history and setting standards that still haven't been matched. But here's the real question: how good were the BBC? And was the 2016 Real Madrid side the most overpowered team football has ever seen?
In the box waiting for the cross, and it was Bale! And then Ronaldo! What a goal by Cristiano!
Real Madrid have won their third consecutive UEFA Champions League.
Before 2016, Real Madrid already had a squad full of world-class talent. Cristiano Ronaldo scoring 50-plus goals a season, Modric and Alonso controlling everything, Ramos and Marcelo leading from the back, and Benzema was the link between the attack and the midfield. But despite all that quality, one thing kept haunting them: they still hadn't won the Champions League since 2002. After 3 straight semi-final exits, something had to change. So in the 2012-13 season, Carlo Ancelotti arrived, bringing the missing piece: Gareth Bale, the fastest forward in Europe, the €100 million superstar, the weapon they didn't have before. With Bale joining Benzema and Ronaldo, Real Madrid created a trio nobody was ready for. They became the BBC. Speed, versatility, lethal finishing. In their very first season, they combined for 97 goals and 30 assists, and Bale delivered one of the greatest solo runs in Copa del Rey history, a 60-yard sprint to destroy Barcelona. But the real breakthrough came in Europe. Schalke, Dortmund, Bayern Munich was defeated 4-0 in Germany after one of the most devastating counterattacks of the modern era. Then came Lisbon, where they won ladecima, Madrid's long-awaited 10th Champions League title. The curse was broken. The BBC had arrived. The next season brought reinforcements: Toni Kroos and James Rodriguez, and Madrid went on a 22-game winning streak, scoring 81 and conceding only 10. But then came the injuries, the inconsistency, the semi-final collapse, and Ancelotti was sacked. Under Rafa Benitez, the spark the BBC brought had faded. The BBC rarely played freely. Everything felt off. Until January 2016, when Zinedine Zidane walked in. When he came in, he brought with him the one thing this trio of deadly forwards needed: clarity. Immediately, the goals returned. 27 goals in his first 11 league matches, and Cristiano's hat-trick versus Wolfsburg saved their season. Another Champions League final, another European title. But even then, they weren't at their peak. At least not yet. They weren't fully synced. Nobody knew it then. Nobody knew the monster they were about to become. Because the following season, everything finally clicked, and Madrid became almost unplayable. Real Madrid entered the 2016-17 season with 2 goals. One, that is of course to defend their European title, but the last time they won the La Liga was in 2012. While they were crushing teams in Europe, they were always missing out on the league title. So now it was simple: cement their legacy by winning the La Liga again. Real Madrid began with a sense that the team had finally found its identity. For the first time since the BBC formed, everything around them felt settled. Zidane didn't change much. He didn't reinvent anything. He just kept the formula simple, and the players carried it out from week 1. Real Madrid opened the league strong, winning match after match, and by September, they had equaled Barcelona's all-time La Liga record of 16 consecutive league wins. Whether the BBC started together or not, the team looked confident. When Bale played, the right side had pace. When Benzema dropped deep, the attack connected. And Cristiano, now focusing more on finishing inside the box, became even more efficient. Zidane also trusted the squad around the trio. Morata, Isco, Lucas Vazquez and Asensio all delivered when called upon. It allowed the BBC to stay fresh for bigger matches. Madrid weren't just winning, they were rotating, adapting and controlling games in a way they hadn't in previous seasons. In Europe, things moved just as smoothly. They made it out of the group without losing a match, then beat Napoli with 2 solid wins in the round of 16. The quarter-final against Bayern Munich turned into one of Cristiano's most impressive knockout performances. He scored 5 goals across both legs, as Madrid won 6-3 on aggregate. The semi-final was another derby against Atletico. Real Madrid handled the first leg perfectly, winning 3-0 thanks to a Cristiano hat-trick. The second leg was more intense, but they advanced, securing their second straight final. Meanwhile, in La Liga, Madrid kept their form. They didn't play the flashiest football, but what they did have was reliability. They lost only 3 matches all season and scored in every league game. Cristiano finished the league with 25 goals, Benzema added 11, and Bale contributed despite missing time through injury. Real Madrid ended the season with 93 points, winning the league title for the first time since 2012. The Champions League final against Juventus marked the pinnacle of the season. Juventus had conceded only 3 goals in the entire tournament, but on that day, Madrid put past them 4. Cristiano scored twice, while BBC played their part in one of the club's most complete European performances. Real Madrid became the first team in modern Champions League history to win back-to-back titles. Cristiano finished the season with 42 goals, Benzema with 19 and Bale with 10. Across the entire squad, Madrid scored 173 goals, the second highest total in a club history at that time. For many people, the 2016-17 team wasn't just good, they were the most complete Real Madrid side of the modern era. The 2017-18 season began with Real Madrid looking exactly like the team that had just won almost everything. They had opened the year beating Manchester United in the UEFA Super Cup and then defeated Barcelona 5-1 on aggregate in the Spanish Super Cup. Ronaldo scored, Benzema scored, and Bale contributed. It seemed like the momentum from the previous season carried straight into this new one. But as the league began, the picture quickly changed. Cristiano missed the first 5 league matches due to suspension, and Madrid struggled without him. They drew games, dropped points at home, and slipped behind Barcelona early. Bale started the season brightly, but picked up another muscle injury that kept him out for several weeks. Benzema also suffered a hamstring issue, and when he did play, his goal numbers dropped sharply. They were still one of the most dangerous trios in Europe, but they were rarely on the pitch together. Zidane began adjusting, Isco played more minutes, Asensio had breakout spells, Lucas Vazquez became a frequent option on the right. The attack continued to function, but it wasn't the same as before. By the turn of the year, Barcelona was pulling away in the league. Real Madrid eventually finished third with 76 points, their lowest tally since the trio had formed. But as Real Madrid always do, in the Champions League, the story was different. CR7 delivered one of the most impressive knockout campaigns of his career, scoring twice against PSG and producing the famous bicycle kick in Turin. Bale and Benzema both had decisive moments, especially in the later rounds, and Madrid found a way to advance through every challenge. Even without perfect form, they kept winning when it mattered. Real Madrid had reached their 3rd consecutive Champions League final. The season had been uneven, the league campaign had been difficult, and the BBC had dealt with injuries at almost every stage. But somehow, they were still there, still alive in Europe, still one match away from yet another major trophy. that final would become the last great stage of the BBC era. Benzema scored the opening goal after a disastrous mistake by SCARIEST. Cristiano was dangerous as always, and Bale, he came off the bench and scored one of the greatest Champions League final goals ever. Real Madrid won 3-1, becoming the first team in modern history to win 3 consecutive Champions League titles. But after that final, BBC reached the pinnacle of their era. Cristiano Ronaldo left for Juventus. Bale had too many injuries and his body couldn't take it. Benzema remained and even won the Ballon d'Or. But the trio, as the world knew, was gone. From 2013 to 2018, Benzema, Bale and Cristiano Ronaldo shaped a dynasty and defined Real Madrid's most dominant era. But which season was the best in your opinion?